Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another video. Today I'll be wrapping up books 13 through 15. So the first two reads that I'm going to talk about are actually graphic novels, and I do not read a lot of those. I'm definitely not an expert, but I do make an exception, of course, for Brandon Sanderson. And the graphic novels that I'm talking about are White Sand Volume 1 that I have here, and also Volume 2. I also read that one, but I don't have it yet in the physical format because it's somewhere in the mail. Hasn't arrived yet, but I did receive an ARC copy from the publisher via NetGalley, so I already read it and I'm going to be talking about it. But anyways, this series is based off of one of unpublished works by Brandon Sanderson called White Sand. It's one of his epic fantasies and it does take place in Cosmere, so for those of you who are enthusiastic about Cosmere, you should probably definitely read these. And it's also co-created by Rick Hoskin and Julius Gopez. And regarding the, graphic art style in it, it's something that you see here on the cover, and I can show you inside as well. Now, I'm no expert on graphic novels, as I already said, so I'm not sure whether this is considered good or not. It's nothing compared to Saga, but I do like it. But then again, those of you who read more graphic novels will be better able to judge this. So anyways, this story takes place in a world on a planet that is tidally locked between two stars. So one side of the planet is called the dark side because it sort of faces the darker, the dimmer star. And there's sort of like always a twilight, it's never really brighter than that. And the other side of the planet looks towards the bright star, so there's always daylight, and that's why it's called Dayside. And on the Dayside we meet Kenton, who is a young man trying to become a Sandmaster. So Sandmasters are basically people that are able to create, not create, but use sands for lifting things, to fight with, or whatever, whatever is needed, and he wants to become one of them. His father is the master of Sandmasters, and of course he wants to follow in his footsteps, but the thing is that Kenton is very weak compared to others. He is basically only able to control the one ribbon, which is nothing compared to the real masters, so he's struggling with that. And at the beginning of the story we see Sandmasters get attacked and basically murdered, and it's then, Kenton feels that it's up to him to sort of lead the rest of them, and that's his path. And we also follow a group from the dark side. They're on an expedition trying to sort of finish a mission by one of their princes, and this expedition is led by Duchess Chrysala, who is actually engaged to the prince from the dark side, and they are trying to find sand mages. And also sort of, complete the prince's mission. And I really enjoyed their story as well, because they're sort of, there's an anthropologist, and they're all, from universities, and they're studying the people and everything that they see. And it was really enjoyable just seeing their commentary, because they're so opinionated and they think they're better than the Daysiders, more evolved and everything, and they're just looking down on them. And it was hilarious because it's so what we do, I think, in real life. That was really enjoyable. And of course Kenton and this group sort of meet, and their stories sort of get entangled. And in Volume 1 basically we do see this introduction to the world and to the people, and in Volume 2 we get to actually to the core of the story. We see Kenton struggle with his mission and Chrysala with her, and this I actually cannot tell you more about the second part, but still it's very enjoyable. I did rate it 5 stars on Goodreads, and I did enjoy it a lot. So I really like this world and the characters in it, and I love following their stories. This is somewhat political, but compared to Brandon Sanderson's other epic fantasies, I sort of feel that it's slightly more innocent, and it's definitely maybe not as well done exactly as his published works. Of course, I think this one actually predates all of them. I think it was written even before Elantris, so it would make sense, I guess, that it's that way. But I really like it, and I read Volume 1 back in 2016 when it came out, and I did enjoy back then a lot. But I have to say that with rereading, I did enjoy it a bit more, and I also have the benefit of having read the unpublished manuscript. So I think that that did help me enjoy it a bit more, because while I do like, how you get information in a graphic novel, it's a lot easier, I think, to get information in a book. I think because of that, my experience this time was a bit richer, maybe is the word I'm gonna use. But yeah, anyways, if you want to get that work, I think that you can basically just sign up for his newsletter. I think that's how I got it, and they send it to you automatically. So for fans out there, you know, that's what you should do. So the last book that I'm going to talk about is Origin by Dan Brown. I got this at the library, and when I saw it I had to just borrow it because I have been looking forward to this book. I usually get them, but I usually get them in the mass market paperback editions, and that one's not out yet, so I, you know, have a bit of a wait ahead of me. But when I saw it, I said, you know what, I'm just going to read it and see whether or not I actually even want it. So this is book 5 in the Robert Langdon series by Dan Brown. So if you have read any of those books, you know what sort of mold it follows. And this time around we meet Edmund Kirsch at the beginning of this book, and he is sort of this wonder boy, genius, programmer, prophet almost, and he has this huge following, and he has made a discovery and he's about to announce it to the world. He has all this sort of revelation planned at the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain, and of course things don't exactly go according to his plans. And Robert Langdon and a lady have to sort of jump in and finish his mission. And that means, of course, that for Robert Langdon, he has a tough 24 hours ahead of him with a lot of running around Spain, being scared for his life, fighting for his life, and just not being sure whether or not he's going to be able to finish his friend's mission. I actually really ended up liking this book. At the beginning, I was sort of miffed because, again, Dan Brown is dealing with a topic that is controversial, especially when it comes to religion and church, and especially Catholic Church. And I was thinking that that is very lazy of him, because this is like the 3rd book at least that has dealt with a topic like that. I was thinking, okay, this is getting sort of boring by now. But in the end, I did end up liking it. This is not necessarily my favorite of his books. I still really like The Da Vinci Code, probably because it was my first of his books that I've read. And I also really like The Lost Symbol. That didn't turn into a movie for some reason. If you know why, please tell me, because I would love to see that as a movie. And I think it's sort of a 3rd, maybe right before Angels and Demons, and definitely before Inferno, because that one is my least favorite. I don't really like that one at all, although it's maybe the most realistic given the subject that it discusses. But anyways, it's a Robert Langdon book. You know, it's not a masterpiece. It's really enjoyable, easy to read, and I really liked it. But yeah, I mean, don't go into it expecting too much. Just, if you want to have fun, maybe pick it up anyways. So those are all the books that I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next one. Bye!